Hello everyone, Swiss Mafia here. Welcome to a bonus episode, the Mafia Matrix. So today I'm just going to take you through a matrix or a spreadsheet I've created, which I think will help a lot of you who are either new to this platform or getting used to the new updates. So as we ran through a couple of episodes ago, there have been a few changes in terms of power XP going forward into the new season. What I'm going to do today is show you how I'm adapting to those changes, how I think I can get the edge, and also just a good way of getting a good overview on your gallery, maybe spotting some gaps where you need to change. There might be some players you actually think were good additions to your gallery, and you might look at them now and think otherwise. So without sort of wasting further time, I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to share this on our main Thursday Club page and also put it on my page, on my Swiss Mafia page. So what I've created here is my creation. Everything within it is my own. So please only use it for reference. When you go on to the initial document, you'll land on the first tab, which is the intro, which gives you kind of a little bit background around what it is. And then a reminder that this video is available. If you want to go straight to the bottom, you've got your tabs available. Your matrix tab is where the one that you will use for yourself to fill in. And then I've also got an example of my own gallery and what it looks like once it's filled in. So if I walk you through my filled in gallery, and then, as I said, use the matrix tab when you fill in your own gallery and let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you like it, hopefully it helps, but also I'd welcome any feedback in terms of future development. This is just version 1. Along the top of each section, I've got a kind of a comment which explains what each drop down means. I've tried to make as much of it as possible either drop down boxes for your ease, or some of it's got some automatic code further down the line, which will just work out for you rather than you having to do it yourself. So if I walk through each section, first of all, the first thing you'll need to do is enter in your player's serial number, i.e. the number of cards you have. My team is looking at rare specifically, so it's out of 100. The purpose of this really is just to show any of those number ones or serial matches you may have. So for me, for instance, my only one I actually truly own is my Bailey Peacock Farrell. Not a necessity to have that in there, but I just like to know what I've got. Secondly, your nationality, again, not essential, but gives you a good overview in terms of the balance weighted across those teams. You can sort as well in case you've got specific teams you're looking for. I'm doing this because I'm looking ahead with the Euros in mind, so I'll filter through to my European teams and then make a decision on who I think is viable, because I think, again, edge should be gained if you're planning early for those Euros. Next positions, super simple: goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, forward, drop down bar, easy peasy. Then your player's status. So are they a star player, starter, rotation, backup, reserve, injured, a new transfer, a youth, or maybe you've got no idea at all. I have pre-populated these so that when they drop down, they will change. So for instance, Jordan Pickford, I currently see him as a star at Everton. If he took a transfer somewhere big, let's say, I'm making this up, but let's say Barcelona, and became a backup, he would drop to backup and suddenly his status changed to red. It's more of a visual thing than anything, but again, it gives you a quick sort of overview on your gallery just from me off. The name piece, you'll have to enter this in yourself. I've gone for surnames, do it however you like. Then the team, the next one is a team. So that's your team name card, which team the player plays for. Ignore where they've gone, who they play for. So if I use Granit Xhaka as my example, the card that I own of Granit Xhaka is an Arsenal card. Therefore, Arsenal goes into the team section. However, he plays for Leverkusen. So in the next drop down, that's when you put down who they play for. Again, they've all got drop down searches just to make it easy for you. Next up is the league. So which league do they play in? Not which league is the card from, but which league do they play in? This should give you an oversight in terms of how spread out your gallery is. Are you spreading yourself too thin? Is there a particular league that you've got strength and depth in? And then also which division. So for the divisions, I've just got Champ, Euro, Challenger, and Div 2. We're focusing predominantly on European for this section. I welcome any feedback, can change, send further additions if needs be. Next drop is your under 23s. Simple: is your player under 23 or not? This gives you a good oversight in terms of have you got additional utility of those cards, and again, more of these yellows, greens that pop up, probably you start considering, actually, should I be thinking about a U23 team? Next up is the year. So which year is that card printed from? It says it obviously on your cards. Drop downs will vary. So if you pick 22, 23, which is the latest cards that drop, they will automatically go red. The reason I've done that is because that flags you are at risk of losing that 5% new season bonus. So that will come into play. From what I understand, it comes into play in September, or potentially when the new when your cards play their first game. I haven't seen any changes yet. I'm not too clear on it. So what I've done is I've included the 5% bonus, but also an option to reduce it, so you can change that as you go. Obviously, 23, 24 cards, when they drop, that goes green. You get your 5% bonus. There's a gain to that, but you're probably paying more. And then the older cards stay black. Next up is your cap. It's just good to have a quick oversight in terms of where your players can potentially fit. I'm focusing on cap 240. I produced this spreadsheet with cap 240 in mind because, again, I think a lot of the newer starters or the old school grinders will be playing it. Happy to adapt it for those that want something different. I've set in then a parameter within this so that it flags up those players in green that are cap friendly in terms of 240, in gold or orange that are kind of the middle ground, so can play them, but they may sort of slightly overpull your score. If you think about cap 240, generally speaking, you've got 48 per player. That gives you an idea. So sometimes I play 50s, I play up to maybe even 52 sometimes. You don't want to go too much more. And then those that are red, you probably want to consider playing elsewhere. So into the actual scoring element, you've got your new cards, as I said, which gain a 5% bonus. If they go 5, you're hitting green. If they go 0%, you're hitting red. Then they will lose bonus, as I said, in September when they first play their card. So if you do have a card that is a 2022, 23, and you'll see it because it'll go red, you'll be picking 5%. Because you currently got that 5% bonus, but also then in here, chuck in, you'll be losing 5% once the new cards come out. That's really important because that will balance out the equations further down the line. So once you've moved on to the next section, you've got the XP trained element. So XP trained is what XP the card has outside of any of the other bonuses, i.e., excluding your new card bonus, excluding your collection bonus, excluding any of the ownership bonuses that you may have, serial bonuses, fitness boosts, etc. What is the XP that is left at the end? So it may be easier because you actually have to look at the card itself to work this out. It may be easier for you to actually do this box last. That's what I did. I did all my bonuses first and then filled in the XP at the end because that was what was left. You can also set a formula in there, but I'll be honest, I was a little bit lazy. And then in terms of like what you're looking for, what is good in terms of XP, ideally, I think you can probably push yourself towards the 10 mark if you're really smashing a card up by the end of the season. But again, I'm open to be challenged there. I've kind of gone anything above 5. I'm all right with. Anything below is not great. How you get your XP up is through training, through matches, through what used to be known as academy. Captain bonus is next. So as you know, with the new changes, you can now captain a player. That will add additional bonus to your cards. You have 5 cards across the team. That additional percentage equates to 4% per card. So whatever you do, just put in 4 for every single card. It's blue because I've left it as a generic number. You don't need to change it. If you equate 4 per card, that will make the equation at the end accurate. Next up is your collection bonus. So this can go between 0 and 5%, depending on how strong or how well built your collection is. If you click on the cards when you're playing, you will see how far along your collection bonus you are. Obviously, 5 is great. No, not so much. Collections, I think, will give a huge edge in terms of those who do well in tournaments now, because we're seeing more and more that even sort of 1-2% is a huge gain. So if possible, always keep collection bonuses in mind. How do you build your collection bonus? So you get a bonus first of all for, are you the first owner of that card, i.e. have you bought them at auction? If you don't own, if you bought them secondary market, then you'll get 0 score for them, so just put 0. If you are a first owner, you bought them at auction, put 20 in there because you get 20 points. Then there's the jersey mint. So is it a number 1 jersey or a jersey mint, i.e. if my player is number 8, is my card number 8? If yes, then you get up to 30 points for that. If it's a no, then stay on 0. 90 days. This is an easy one, but also a hard one. By that, I mean, have you owned a card for 90 days without listing it or trying to sell it, whatever we want to term it. I say it's easy because actually all you have to do is hold the card, and therefore then you only gain 10%, but those 10s add up, especially if you've built a collection which has a little bit of depth around certain teams, i.e. I'm collecting Everton and United players predominantly, therefore every 10 that adds up will go towards my overall collection bonus. So it's worth doing. Every time you list your player, you will lose that 90-day bonus. So, and then it resets to 0. So consider before you list whether you actually want to do it. Then owned, every player automatically gets a 10 bonus for being owned, just like the captain bonus. It's in blue, just everyone should have a 10, leave it as 10. I think I even left it for both those generically blank. Yeah, they've got 4s and 10s in there already, so it's fine, just leave them as they are. Then your total. So this is your total collection bonus. So that is adding up your first owned, your jersey, and your 90-day numbers, and that gives you your total. So as a total, for Jordan Pickford, for instance, I've only got 10 as a total collection number or bonus. That is because I only own him. I haven't had him for 90 days. I haven't got a jersey number, and I'm not the first owner because I didn't buy him at auction. I then put a percentage complete on this and this is just so you can visually see, are you getting the most out of the card you own? And what can you do to make it better? So I'm only 25% up in terms of like completing my bonus collection on Pickford. So again, a quick glance, what can I do? I can easily hold him for 90 days and get another 10. I'm not going to get a jersey mint because it's too late and it's not going to be a first ownership. If there's one of those available, I may consider selling Jordan Pickford or swapping if I can then get him in to increase that, or maybe I'm happy just keeping around that 25% plus the extra 10 when I get that 90-day ownership. As you'll see, some have 100% filled in. You can actually exceed 100%. So if you were to get your first owned and your 90-day, you can actually get up to, I think it's 150% I put in there, but majority of people won't go past 100%, which is why I've kind of left the cap on there. And also hitting 40 as a score is enough across your teams to really benefit. Next up is fitness. So fitness is the new introduction. No one actually knows what is happening with fitness yet. It's caused a lot of intrigue, a lot of interest, a lot of commotion, a lot of moaning maybe before we even know what it is, but hey, that's natural. So fitness bonus is 0 to 10%. That's all we do know. I've left everyone at 10, and then manually you can just choose from the drop down whatever your player is on. We'll find out how important that is as we go, and we don't truly know when that's coming. I think it's supposed to be September. We will see. Your boost bonus. So I think this gets neglected a little bit, especially with people that like to chase caps or buy merch. But hey, whatever you enjoy, go for it. So your boost can be between 0 and 1.5% extra gained per player. So you gain that through buying the boosts within the club shop, which again, they cost, I think, 7,500. I think they roughly like 1.5% on, let's say, a Pickford, who currently I own a total percentage score of, once I lose my 5% of a new card, I've only got my 3.5% of XP trained up on one collection. So I've got 4.5% on Pickford. Owning 1.5% extra is actually an additional third onto that card, or 33%, however you want to pitch it. So I think actually that's, I think I'm confident it will have a massive impact in terms of the ability to hit better scores, or just making that difference, that differential. So yeah, anyway, boosts up to 1.5%, pick 0.5% at a time, do it as you wish. Then all of that then adds up to a total. So your total score, which again, if I click on that, it's coded in, formulaed in. Don't change that one. You shouldn't need to click on total or do anything with it. Just leave it as it is. Next up is your differential. So differential is the gain in bonus percentage in the new format versus the old format. By that, I mean the format has changed to in cap 240, where you have to hit a score of 300. Traditionally, or in the old format, you had to hit a cap score of, your cap was 240 a play, and you had to hit a score of 250. So using all of the numbers within, we have finished on a total of 23.5 for Jordan Pickford, which means he has a benefit of 3.5% with the new changes. Okay, that does include fitness bonus, and that does include the captaincy element. So in theory, currently he is ahead of the game. The challenge we have though is once the 5% bonus on new season cards are lost, that will change everything, because he will now lose 5%, meaning he's on 0. Or minus 1.5% in terms of his differential, and that means I'm suddenly behind. So there's like this weird little phase right now where we don't quite know when it's all happening, or it hasn't happened yet. We're going, okay, well, currently my Pickford, for example, actually benefits from where we are right now if the bonuses and boosts come in and the cards don't go straight away. If it's all done at the same time and they add in the new bonuses and the new fitness, and they take away the 5% bonus score, then actually I lose out. Just if they introduce new season cards before they put all the bonuses in, i.e. the fitness, etc., the captain's score, I would then actually lose considerably more. But I think the plan is to do it all at the same time. So I've left it to show a differential of what it looks like pre and what it looks like post changing those cards. Now, obviously, if you bought a player who is from an old season like Neto, you won't, like I've got a Neto Barcelona, I don't see a change. So I'm on 0.5% differential right now. And when the new cards come out, I will still be 0.5 differential. What I've also got here is a little, I called it 6% test. I saw it referenced online a few times, and it's just to see, it's a more simplified visual of seeing how the impact of the new change, what the impact of new change will have on your team and score. So again, it's pretty much the same. I'm minus 1.5 behind on the differential as it stands when new cards come out. With Pickford, that looks like a 4.5 out of 6. So if you're into your stats and want to go for it all, great, go for it. You can see kind of where the variances are. If you're someone who's not so mad for it but just wants a quick oversight of where my player sits, go straight to the 6% test and go, right, okay, how close am I to 6%? If I have a player who's over 6%, I consider him, in my words, a cheat code, or I consider him like a benefit to my cap team. And if I can surround my cap 240 team with players like that, I increase my chances to win. I kind of skipped onto it. The card status at the end. This is basically what we classify our cards on based on everything that we've gone through. This is objective to a point, and you'll have your own opinions through playing. But again, I would try to be led by the scores and the colours that you come out with, i.e. your cheat code for Neto, as I referenced. We could use someone like, let's use Granit Xhaka. So Xhaka's cap is 61. So although Xhaka is all right in terms of like, he's just below 6% test, and the new changes, he'll like lose out maybe by 1 to 2%, 1.5%. His cap score's too high. So I kind of override it and he goes into the cap 270 gas. And there's other players that we may hold due to Ericsson, for example. I see him as rotation. So I override the fact that of the scores he has with his rotation. So there's lots that goes into it. That's, again, more of like your own reference. And then you may want to filter through to those that you're holding, playing, etc. Overall, I like it just from the reason I do it is so I can get an oversight into my squad. I love using SoRare data. I think it's amazing. But I don't think it gives quite the same visual I want of my team. And I also like an element of control in terms of what's going into it and my personal objective views too. So that's my example. What I've done above here is probably worth reference as well. Is added an additional, I've called it the power tracker, a table. So what you can do then is once you've filled in your teams, you then might want to fill this one in up here, which gives you an oversight into how your team could or should perform based on the scores and the calculations in here in cap 240. So I've, again, manually entering your player names in terms of the best. I put best 5 for now, but whatever 5 you want to use. Then you want to manually enter in their power. So the power refers to, if you go along, the total score. So Neto, cell 14, sorry, is 20.15. So power refers to total score. Put their power in there. And then in terms of gain and loss, the differential 240, the first box goes into the gain or loss. And then the second differential, when the new season cards come out, goes into the second box, i.e. September. There's the clue. And then finally, your gain or loss. If you click on it and it's a old card or not a 2022, 23 card, so it won't lose 5%, change the 5 to 0. So my Neto has got a 0 in there. Everyone else has a 5. So that's the only bit of manual sort of coding input you need to do. If you need any help with it, let me know. Happy to help out. Your caps go into here, they'll add up. It'll give you a total cap 237. Then I've got automatically it jumps up here. It will give you then where you sit in terms of the cap for the 240 boundaries. Then alongside here, you can then look at your now versus September performance in terms of if you think, or if I think using my calculations that you're likely to hit ETH. So it's all this stuff below here. So here you've got your gains and losses, which automatically come across once you enter them on the left-hand side. Then you've got your accumulated percentage, which also comes across. That's automatically worked out for you. So ignore that one. And then your points hit. So this is the one that you'll need to potentially change. So this is points hit, which is 250 times 1.222. The reason that says 1.222 is because I've got here my accumulated percentage. So 1.222 means 122.2% effectively. So again, happy to help out if anyone needs it, but look up here, go, okay, right, I've got a 22.2% accumulated percentage. So now I'm going to go to my points, double click on it, and make sure that I have 1 point and then whatever those numbers are. So 22.2 in there, and that's times your 250 score. That then works out versus your 300 targets. This will be 300 whatever, if you hit ETH or not, because it will subtract your score from the target. So I know that as of now, if we play right now using my team, I've got about a 5.5 point gain with those changes. If I play in September, I've got a minus 4.5% loss, or I'm 4.5 points behind. Doesn't scare me in terms of like hitting targets. 4.5 points is very doable, but also kind of motivating, or sets the bar a little bit in terms of like, is this team good enough to hit ETH, and also where can I bridge that 4.5 points from? Because if they're going to be my fairly settled ETH grinding team, and I know you've changed them a lot, I'll just pick them from someone else. So that's kind of a quick top line overview. Let me know your thoughts. Again, comments if you're using it, if it's helping, if you've got any other ideas that I can add to it. Yeah,